Welcome everybody to the Wake Up Call channel. How is this for In Your Face? The bizarre vortex that you're seeing on the screen, which most of us know as the symbol for hypnotism. It's called the hypnosis vortex, or in some cases, it's called the hypnotic spiral. I've covered this symbol before, that it is used in witchcraft and the occult. I use it as the backdrop on my channel, much like I use the all-seeing eye. Crying and bleeding, I use the hypnotism symbol to show that we are under hypnosis. We are living in a world under hypnosis. And the amazing thing about this article, which is from livescience.com, is they're talking about 6G technology. And it says this bizarre vortex doesn't just look cool, which shows you how dumbed down the audience is. It can be a key cog in making scalable, high-speed 6G networks a reality. Flexible plates and nanotubes could pave the way for adaptable controllers for terahertz 6G signals. It says the future of superfast 6G communications could lie in the use of these flexible plates with eye-catching spirals of carbon nanotubes tuned to broadcast terahertz signals. I'll get more into the article after I show you some of these things so you can piece this together. And again, it's not a coincidence that 6G and the symbol and the wavelength and the frequency they're using is the hypnosis, or the symbol that we know of as a symbol of hypnosis. Now, the carbon nanotubes, people need to understand, because right there in that article from Live Science, which is like Popular Science or Popular, this is a large media outlet that pushes science on us, right? They're talking about carbon nanotubes being broadcast. And guess what they're talking about? Guess what wavelength they're talking about? Hypnotism, right? We all think of hypnotism being under mind control. Well, when you have carbon nanotubes inside of your body, you then become a hackable human being. And for people that don't know, carbon nanotubes are inside the human body right now as we speak. You can look at what exactly carbon nanotubes are and what exactly carbon nanotube technology is. And let me show you a clip for those of you that don't know about Tesla phoresis and the use of this type of technology that is self-assembling. They're talking about this being inside of your body. I've talked many times about the scene that nobody ever talks about in The Matrix, is where they show you the battery, right? Turning you into this, and he shows you the Duracell battery. What they've been telling you little by little is that human beings are going to make up really a computer network through what they call the Internet of Bodies. You've probably heard that terminology somewhere before. We've seen articles out there already talking about how scientists want to use people as antennas to power 6G technology. Well, let me show you what the nanotechnology looks like, and then of course you could imagine with 6G frequencies, what it's going to do when it interacts inside of humans.
What we've designed, and we've done this very, very quietly, but we're glad to now release it to the world, is this idea of Tesla phoresis, which is a discovery we made several years ago, and we've been developing it. Tesla phoresis is, the simplest way to understand it, is self-assembly at a distance, just long-distance assembly of materials. And what we did was, because we're at Rice, we had plenty of nanotubes around, so we decided to use nanotubes. And what we discovered was that these nanotubes can actually string together and form wires by themselves under this electric field.
This fundamental idea, force acting at a distance, that you can have, instead of, when you normally build circuits and things like that, you have to have physical contact. Now we're talking about building circuits without actually touching them.
All right, we're just dispersing this. Power on, and then up. I realized that a Tesla coil could actually do this if you designed it in a way to create a very strong force field in front of it. And so that was the engineering aspect of it. And then once I designed the machine, then all sorts of discoveries started falling out of it. Oh, that was a good one.
Tesla-Phresis is one of those things, it's a project that there are just so many avenues, so many things that I think you could do with it. Not just making conductive wires, but taking it in so many different places, not only just biomedical and engineering, but taking it into different industries like silicone chips or exploring different conductive materials.
This also ties in just generally in nanotechnology that self-assembly is very big. That is, if you can get things to build themselves, just as in biology, we build ourselves.
When my son saw it, he called them webs. He thought it was like Spider-Man shooting webs out. And it really is. It's very much like a web sort of stringing out together.
So while most people see that, they can't grasp what it actually is. They see stuff like this, and eventually they will be told, as they become more desensitized to this type of technology, that this type of technology can go inside of their bodies. When they announce it, most of these people don't know it's already in most of their bodies. They'll market it to them by telling them they could be like what? Superheroes. They could be like real life superheroes by having this type of technology inside them, and they will embrace it. So to the article that's talking about the future of super fast 6G communications, they say it could lie in the use of carbon nanotubes. In a new study, which was just published in the Journal of Advanced Optical Materials, researchers explain how layers of spiral zone plates can act as optical components to manage a THZ beam. This is electromagnetic radiation in the 1 trillion hertz spectrum that sits between the microwave and infrared frequency bands for use in 6G communications, microscopy, and medicine. So a lot to take in that sentence. Electromagnetic radiation in the 1 trillion hertz spectrum that sits between the microwave and infrared frequency bands. It sounds pretty extreme for the human body, but this is the experiment that's being done on the majority of the human race as we speak. It says by combining two plates and rotating them relative to each other, the researchers changed the distribution of the intensity of the terahertz beam and split it into several areas of different radiation intensities. This could be used to create several channels for high-speed information transfer. And remember, human beings are hooked up to this. The Internet of Bodies, they've conditioned you into thinking that it's just a bunch of people who are using the internet on their computer or on their phone. I've talked about all of these things that we've heard over the years about uploading your consciousness, right? The mainstream media television shows, they always talk about this notion of uploading your consciousness. Amazon has a show, Upload, about uploading your consciousness. People don't think much further than that, but the operation of uploading your consciousness is already underway. People are uploading their every thought to the internet. The next step is having your bodies hooked up to the internet. And it'll be a seamless transition, because what people will be faced with is the realization of life without the internet, or going on board with having this stuff put in you, going on board in order to have the technology available to you. And remember, most people use the internet as a source of information. So they'll market this to people as being a superhuman, having more, having all this stuff embedded in you, so you don't even have to use a Google search anymore. And this, of course, is changing what a human being is. But the Internet of Bodies is a real thing. It's a computer network through the human body. And when you hear articles, or see articles, I should say, about how scientists want to use people as antennas to power 6G, they're putting that stuff out there to desensitize you to it, because most people don't even know what that means. Like, well, the human body is a conductor of energy, electric. Okay, I'll be an antenna for 6G technology. I don't care, as long as I have my technology, because I can't live without it. And that's why, over the last 15 to 20 years, They've made the internet so easily accessible. They've let you look up all the types of things you want to look up. Now we see the pullback, right? What you can and cannot watch. What, looking up certain things, what they want you to be able to see, what they don't want you to be able to see. They've set the internet up so that you become dependent on the internet. And the internet of bodies, you're either going to be on board with this type of technology under the skin, or you're going to be off grid. You're going to be offline. You're going to be away from all this stuff, which again is something we should all strive for. We should all want to be off the grid, but let's not be hypocritical about it. I'm right here on the internet right now. I use the internet. But to be honest with you, most of the good days that I have in this world are days where I'm not on a computer or near the internet. And I'm certainly never on a phone, which thankfully is not something I've ever gotten used to doing. I don't use the phone. I don't carry a phone around with me. But the more dependent we become on this stuff, the more they know they'll be able to work you into it. They'll be able to convince you that it's safe, that it's healthy. Nobody will be thinking about mark of the beast. Nobody will be thinking about having to buy or sell without it. They'll just tell themselves whatever the government tells them as far as this goes, they got to have it because they can't live without it. They can't live without it. So this goes on to say one of the key features highlighting the prospects of carbon nanotubes is the possibility to create multifunctional devices with properties that can be fine-tuned by different effects through responses at the atomic, supramolecular, and micron levels. For the first time, our joint team has succeeded in introducing an additional effect, interaction of different nanotube patterns. This paves the way for future devices by creating plates with spiral patterns formed from thin carbon nanotubes on a flexible and stretchable substrate. The plates can then be stretched and oriented, tuning them for the specific manipulation of the THZ signals. Most people hear this and they don't understand what it means, right? I'm sure you have a tough time understanding what it means. It's not like this is something that comes second nature to me, understanding when they're talking about terahertz and nanotubes. But when you actually research it and look up what they're telling you, that's when you go, holy crap. They're talking about using you as an antenna, connecting you to an internet of bodies. And then you think about all the ways they've made us so dependent on the internet, where eventually you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to buy or sell without being on the internet. That's what it's headed towards, right? Don't forget www in Hebrew is 666. Don't forget that they have planned a digital currency where they get rid of the dollar, they get rid of cash. Well, guess what? To have and use digital currency, to be able to buy and sell with it, you'll have to be on the internet. You'll have to be a part of the internet of bodies. So this is what we're headed towards. And you think it's a coincidence that the symbol they show you for the wavelength is the symbol for hypnotism? Because when this technology is inside of you, you're going to be a hackable human, a controllable human. How many times have I played for you those clips of Yuval Harari in the World Economic Forum talking about the ability to hack humans, right? Well, what do we think about with hypnosis? When somebody, when we see those old video clips or any video clip or a movie where somebody goes under hypnotism, right? And they go, you're getting very sleepy, right? And they hold up a watch in front of their face. Well, what happens? The person becomes what? They go into a trance and they tell them what they're going to be like when they come out of the trance. Oh, you're going to like this. When you come out of the trance, you're going to do this. You're going to feel like that. They snap their fingers, they come out of the trance. This is literally the hacking of human beings that you're seeing through 6G technology. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.